Ron? Where are you? Where is Ron right now? You done messed up, Ron!
Aaron is back. Welcome back, everybody, for more SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult. Oh my God, you guys. Scientology is still after Mike Rinder, even after his death. Scientology is a lot of things. It's good at a lot of things. It's bad at a lot of things. One thing Scientology very much is unbelievably persistent and annoying, kind of like a UTI or hemorrhoids, or so I hear. Scientology, the hemorrhoid of pseudo-religious groups. Scientology's attorney. Well, Scientology has a lot of attorneys, but one of the most notorious ones is one who is himself actually a Scientologist. His name is Kendrick Moxon. He's the highest level that you can reach in Scientology, called OT8. That is Tom Cruise level. And I'm going to show you the public records request that Kendrick Moxon submitted to the city of Clearwater the day after Mike Rinder died. And I cannot help but tell you guys every time Kendrick Moxon comes up in one of my videos to try to get into the mind of a man like Kendrick Moxon. Picture this. Kendrick has a number of, well, I know of at least a daughter and a son. Oops, sorry, guys. At least of a daughter and a son. Who were in the Sea organization, dedicating their entire lives to working for Scientology. These are kids who were born and raised in Scientology. Scientology is all they ever knew. Kendrick Moxon's own daughter was so miserable working under David Miscavige at Scientology's international management base out in Gilman Hot Springs, California, and had been kept separated from her husband. She was married to a fellow Sea Org member, except her husband was not posted at the international management base, so they could never see each other. The husband was posted in one of the Los Angeles bases, and she hadn't seen her husband in, I think, in over a year. And she had submitted a request. She had been out. She was eligible for a day or two off. She submitted a request to be able to have a day off and go see her husband for the first time in over a year. And that request was denied. And whatever was going on in her mind and her life at the time, that was the final straw for her. And she was so emotionally distraught over not being able to see her husband when she was so sure that she was going to be able to, that while everyone else was getting ready for the day and taking transport from one place to another, she went off, opened the very heavy doors to an underground electrical vault, walked down into it, and grabbed the wires and tragically took her own life. And you have this guy, Kendrick Moxon, who continues to be a dedicated, true believer of Scientology, fighting Scientology's battles for it, doing David Miscavige's dirty work, when Kendrick Moxon and his family is yet another example of how Scientology destroys families and destroys lives. Just keep that in mind whenever you hear any stories about Kendrick Moxon continuing to represent David Miscavige and Scientology in its battles. I want to thank Wise Mama on YouTube for sending me over a link to these documents on Tuesday. I really appreciate it. And I'm just going to share this with you. There is, because Mike Rinder has passed, his cell phone numbers and email addresses, obviously not a big deal to reveal those. His home address is in these documents. And so I'm going to navigate around that. There's no reason to reveal his home address. Let's see what we have here. Law Office of Kendrick L. Moxon, Burbank, California. To the City of Clearwater, City Council. Florida Sunshine Law Records request regarding Clearwater City Council correspondence with Michael J. Rinder between 2013 and 2018. Now, of course, Scientology already submits a records request every single week, a standing open records request for any correspondence between the city and Mike Rinder, the city and myself, the city and a whole other bunch of people who are just known suppressive persons in the Clearwater area. What's interesting about this request is they seem to suspect that there were perhaps records pertaining to specifically Mike Rinder that were perhaps not being turned over for privacy reasons because Mike Rinder was alive. And it's almost like they were just waiting for literally the day that he died to then submit a brand new all-encompassing records request to get a real clean sweep for anything they might not have obtained, in the previous 12 years of submitting these records requests every week. Okay, dear sir or miss, I hereby make this request pursuant to the Florida Sunshine Law, Chapter 119 of the Florida Statutes. I request that all files, systems, indices, and records, repositories of the Clearwater City Council offices be searched and all records produced regarding the following matter: correspondence, communications, or materials from, to, or with Michael John Rinder and the Clearwater City Council on the subject of Scientology, the Church of Scientology, or any Scientologists. Now, how in the hell would the Clearwater City Council or any of the Clearwater City staff be able to know who are any Scientologists? I don't know if you guys realize this, but when you correspond with the city of Clearwater, they do not ask you to identify your religious affiliation. Wording a records request in this way is a little careless. It's probably intentionally broad and careless, but for sure, the responsibility is not on the staff of the city of Clearwater to know who is or who is not a Scientologist. Okay, please search your records from 2013 to 2018. Wait a second here, guys. Wait just a second. Why do they only want correspondence from 2013 to 2018? That I'm actually just noticing that for the first time. Why are they ignoring the last 7 years? Okay, let's see. Michael John Rinder has the following aliases which should be searched: Michael Mike John Rinder, Michael Mike J Rinder, Michael J Rinder, Michael Rinder, Michael John Rinder, Mike J Rinder, Mike Rinder, Mike MJ Rinder. By the way, never heard anybody refer to Mike as MJ. MJ Rinder without periods, M Rinder with a period, M Rinder without a period. The person of interest in this request hereinafter is referred to as Rinda. Specifically, this should include, but not be limited to, the following: reports from or to, reports from, to, or with Rinder on Scientology, video, audio, or photographic recordings from, to, or with Rinder on Scientology, any materials, hard or soft copy, from, to, or with Rinder on Scientology, any information from flash drives, USB drives, from, to, or with Rinder on Scientology, emails from, to, or with Rinder on Scientology, notes from, to, or with Rinder on Scientology, social media reports from, to, or with Rinder on Scientology, text messages from, to, or with Rinder on Scientology. Now, how in the hell is the city of Clearwater supposed to have social media reports from, to, or with Rinder on Scientology? I don't know. I do not know, but that's what they're asking for. Email addresses for Rinder. Okay, I'm going to change the view on this because I just feel like we're getting close to the address. That's fine. We don't have to show this part. Rinder Mike at Yahoo, Rinder Mike at Gmail, Knowledge Report at Hushmail, and then a whole host of phone numbers. They give his birthday, they give his place of birth, they give his last known residence, and then we have Michael John Rinder was deceased as of January 5th, 2025. See attached notice of death. Therefore, records concerning him, which might otherwise be subject to a personal privacy privilege, may not be withheld and must appropriately be released to the public pursuant to a public records request. I agree to pay for any reasonable search and copying fees resulting from this request up to the amount of $100. Please advise if more is required. Thank you. Very truly yours, Kendrick Moxon. Guys, what do you think? Why are they only asking for records between 2013 and 2018? For the life of me, I cannot take a guess as to why they are going just after those years. What do you guys? Do you guys have some insight on this? Give me your guesses in the comments down below. Okay, let's look some starred comments. Got a few more videos I'm trying to get done before the city council meeting tonight. By the way, if you're watching now and you're anywhere near in the Clearwater area and you haven't yet heard, there is a city council meeting tonight, Thursday, April 3rd, 6 p.m. at the Public Library in downtown Clearwater on Osceola. They will be doing a second reading of the motion to sell a street to Scientology. A whole bunch of us will be showing up and speaking, giving our thoughts on this. It's items 7 and 8 on the agenda. Any and all are welcome to come and join us and speak if you are so inclined. Okay, some starred comments. Matt Elliott, does Kendrick Moxon know what happened on the base, or do you think he was told a different story? I personally believe that he was told a different story. That is what I believe. Destiny Salazar. It's almost like they don't have anything better to do. Gross. Cries Marie. They don't actually have to comply to this, right? Oh, no. They definitely have to comply to it. It's the Sunshine Law in Florida, and they're just asking for public records. Wise Mama, here she is. There were 2 requests in there, one from 2007 and 2012, and then from 2013 to 2018. I think it has to do with a limit of years or size that can be requested. So that does make sense. I guess I'm surprised that there wasn't yet a 3rd request for 2019 to up to 2025, but what do I know, guys? Gadut Folkeba. I feel so sorry for the city of Clearwater being on the receiving end of endless cult shenanigans. Ruth O'Hare, what happened in that period? I don't know. Scientology crimes. Comment, Audit LA requested 2024 and 2025 records to Kendrick Moxon, and they sent her an estimate of $1,600. I think that crazy dollar amount is just a reflection of how much correspondence Kendrick Moxon has had with the city of Clearwater over that time period, because that's a completely unreasonable amount of money. And you know what? I wonder, here's why. It's because correspondence with Kendrick Moxon includes all the requests Kendrick has sent to the city and everything the city has responded to him with. And so she's probably being charged for literally every page, every sheet that the city has ever had to send to Kendrick over the last, 1.5 years. That's absolutely crazy. Calico, when did the Truth Rundown come out? In 2009 is when the Truth Rundown series of articles came out in the St. Pete Times. It's Just Me says that's when he talked to the FBI prior to Leah's show, right? Oh, I have no idea when he talked to the FBI. Maz, maybe to do with the Aftermath show. The Aftermath show didn't start until closer to 2015, 2016. I remember because I got officially declared in early 2014. Because I was being declared is why I started my own business in late 2013. Mike Rinder started working for me around 2015, 2016. And then the TV show was after that. So that's all I know. Kara, I reckon they're looking for files relating to an incident in or around 2017, giving a year later to try to make it less obvious what they are looking for. Anything's possible. Your guess is as good as mine at this point. But there you go, guys. How about waiting? They're just waiting in the wings. They're just waiting in the wings. You got Kendrick just waiting there. All right, when's Mike going to die? When's Mike going to die? All right, he's dead. Send off the records request. I don't know. Maybe we should do a records request for any records relating to any communication to or from or concerning Kendrick Moxon or his daughter, who took her own life while working under David Miscavige at the International Base in Riverside County, California, outside of Hemet. The International Base is actually, if you just look it up on Google, it's Gilman Hot Springs, California. That is Scientology's International Management Base. All right, everybody, that is it for now. Stay tuned. So much more to come later today, and I'll see you guys soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.